All right, I think the hour is upon us, so we'll get going here. First of all, thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name's Mark Shiana. I'm the director of the Atlantic Human Rights Center, and it's a pleasure to welcome Yannick Tona in conjunction with the UMB Student Unions and STAN Canada. Yannick is not the first genocide survivor which we've had speak here at St. Thomas. We've had a number of survivors speak here over the years, but each story is profoundly unique and serves as an essential reminder of both the tragedy which can befall us when we don't pay attention to the signs and we take for granted the human rights which we have a duty to claim each and every day, not only for ourselves, but for our neighbors. So I believe that the thrust of Yannick's lecture this evening will also be on the inspiring consequences which can come out of a horrific events such as the events that transpired in Rwanda. So I invite Yannick to the stage to commence his presentation.
Good evening. I say good evening. Right. You know when you watch a TV, the TV just talks and you never reply to TV, right? But I'm not a TV. So if I say please reply to me, right? Forgiving people didn't say back, good evening. Good evening. Right. Thank you very much. So thank you so much for coming today. I know it's not easy. Most people are always busy, so take this time and come here. I feel so much honored and thank you so much for coming. And I also want to say thank you so much for Mark for providing this opportunity for us and me specifically to come here. And the University of St. Thomas, the UNB Student Union, and everyone who worked hard for organizing everything that will be here. Specifically Rebecca and the whole team. They deserve to be claimed, right? I'm so happy today to be here. I arrived in Canada 2 weeks ago. I have been in British Columbia and Vancouver, and it's always cold. So I'm so happy today it's not cold. I'm from Africa, it's not cold like here. So sorry, I'm on my jacket. I thought I was wearing a lot of stuff. I was thinking it's gonna be cold. It's not. As they just said, my name is Yannick Tona. I'm 21 years old. I finished high school last year. I'm hoping to go to university in political science next year. I work for Aegis Student, specifically the Part of Aegis Trust, as an international program officer. Sometimes I speak a little bit quickly. I hope today I'll speak slowly. But also we have time for questions. So if you have any question you can ask at the end of the presentation. I'm from Rwanda, a country which is in Africa. I know most of you know about Africa. When I speak in high schools, I always ask kids, how many of you have heard about Africa? Some of them they don't know, but I know you know Africa. I'm from East Africa, in a country called Rwanda. Rwanda is a beautiful country with a lot of hills and greens. It looks similar to some part of here. We have a lot of hills. We also look at some parts like Vancouver with a lot of hills and tall hills. We have 4 country neighbors. We have Uganda, Burundi in the south. We have Tanzania in the east. We have Democratic Republic of Congo in the west. I want you to remember this, please. Democratic Republic of Congo. Because when I talk about my testimony, I come back about that country. But also, I live today in Kigali, and that's where I work. But I was born in the south province of Rwanda, in Butare. Please, remember Butare. I'm gonna mention that name again when I speak about my testimony. Do you mind reducing just the lights? Yeah, thank you so much. On 6 April in 1994, the sun rose as a normal day back home in Rwanda. But at the end of that day, something happened. The plane which was carrying the former president Habyarimana was shot down when I was landing in Kigali airport. I didn't know at that time that event would change completely my life, not just only me, but all Rwandans' life. After just a few hours after they shot the plane down, they started putting roadblocks every street in Kigali and some part of Rwanda. Lists of Tutsi, where they live and what they do, have already been made. They start putting actually out, start reading their names and find where they are. They start killing Tutsis who are in politics, who are a political position, or who are rich. The media was encouraging, preaching the propaganda, encouraging Hutu to kill Tutsi. But of course, where I was that time 4 years old. I didn't know anything happened. I was born in what I can call rich and happy family. My dad was a businessman. He had his own business in public transport in Rwanda. My mom, she was a principal of one of the schools just area where we used to live. I had my sister, she was 3 years old. I had my young brother who was just 1 year old, and he was 4 years old. For me and my sister and my brother, we have no idea what happened. Few days after, my mom, she came, she told me, my sister, that we're going to my grandmother for holidays. This is what she told. She told we're going to my grandmother for holidays. But actually it was not true. We're not going to my grandmother for holidays. Actually we're going there because what happened in Kigali, they shot down the plane, and the event which followed after, my family, they chose to go together at my grandma's house to find if in the South Province, in Butare, where I was, if they're gonna start killing Tutsis. But we're very young to be explained that. I'm 4 years old, my sister, she's 3 years old. So we went to my grandma's house. I like always to go to my grandma's house. She was just living 20 minutes from where we are, not far where we are living at that time. Few days after, one day, I remember. First of all, I want to be clear on this. I didn't know any date or any year or time. The only thing I remember was events. I learned about dates or time after the genocide when I was growing up. Asked my mom, when was that, when was that? I just only remember dates because I was just 4 years old. So I went to my grandma's house a few days after. I was sitting outside, me, my mom, my sister and my brother, my grandmother and one of my uncles were just sitting outside of my grandma's house. We saw like 400 or 500 people running just on the street where we are. Like a lot of people running, panic. For me as a kid, it was good, it was a really good thing. It was like a movie for me. I was like, wow, this is great. Because I've never seen something like that. Like 400 people running, just like really running. I was like, wow, this is good. But there was a reason all these people are running. There's why they're running. My uncle quickly stand and asked one of the guy on the street, why are you running? And this guy told my uncle, replied to my uncle, they start killing Tutsi in Nyanza. Nyanza is the place where we used to live, which was not far from where we are. When they said they start killing Tutsi, I know what killing means. I heard about that. But I didn't know what Tutsi means. So quickly in my mind, I just put, so Tutsi is an animal. So all people are running to kill that animal. That's what I put in my mind, because I'm just a kid. I have no idea what that Tutsi means. But I saw my mom's face changing. I knew something's wrong, but I'm not sure what's wrong. So for most of you, some of you who doesn't know what Tutsi or Hutu means, and how we end up with the genocide in Rwanda in 1994, I want to go a little bit about the history of Rwanda, So when I say all these things, when I go to my testimony, you understand all these things. The history of Rwanda can be divided in 3 parts. Rwanda as a kingdom, Rwanda during the colonization time, and Rwanda as a republic. Rwanda was a kingdom, as many countries in Africa. The king was the head of the state, very respectful man. The administration was very structured from the king to the local village. Back home, in my society, we speak one language, which is Kinyarwanda. Anywhere you can go in Rwanda, we speak in one language, it's Kinyarwanda. We have one culture everywhere you can go in Rwanda. And that time people in Rwanda, everyone believed in God, which was making our society very strong and unified society. If I give you an example, if you go some country neighbors in Rwanda, it's the Democratic Republic of Congo. I lived there with my mom a few years after the genocide. But one thing I found there is they speak more than 20 languages in their society. Every part, they have their own language. They have different cultures. You know, most of the countries, different countries have different culture, different language. By my country, one language, one culture, which making us very strong unified society. The first European to have my country, it was in 1895. There were Germans. The Germans, they come and colonize my country in their way. So they have a governor general on the ground, but the king was still making decision, but the king reporting to the governor general. During the Second World War, in 1960, the administration changed from the German and the Belgium that the one colonizing Rwanda now. But the colonies Rwanda directly way. The governor general is on the ground, but also is making the decision. The king is not making the decision. The governor general is making the decision, and the king implement the decisions. There is positive side of the colonization in Rwanda. I don't like, sorry for this, I don't like when some people say the colonization in Africa or different countries. They only say the negative side. Also is the positive side. They help us building schools back home. They help us building infrastructure home. They help us improving our medication in Rwanda. They help us in different good ways. But also there's a negative side. In my country, people used to associate them in 18 clans. 18 clans. Hutu or Tutsi was socio-economic classes. Hutu or Tutsi was socio-economic classes. How? Back home, if you used to have that time more than 10 cows, you are calling Tutsi. If you have under 10 cows, you are calling Hutu. So which means today can be Tutsi, tomorrow can be Hutu. Today can be rich, tomorrow can be poor. These socio-economic classes. So when the Belgian colonized my country in 1932, they did research where we look, what we do, and how we look. They changed what we used to have as socio-economic classes to be ethnic groups. In our new identity card they introduced in my country, they start dividing people the way they look. They use different search. Sometimes they use, if you're long, having long nose, like me, example, you'll be calling Tutsi. If you are tall and short, have big nose, you'll be calling Hutu. So in your identity card, they'll be writing Hutu. If you're short, big nose. If you're long and long nose, you're calling Tutsi. In my country, people believe in it. They forget all the common things they have. They start to see each other as a Hutu and Tutsi. And what Belgium they did is this. They said that Tutsi, they look like Europeans. So they favors them. They give good position that time in authority, but also their kids were sent to best schools.